The downfall of the Kardashians has well and truly begun, and they are still exploiting, deceiving, and lying to us all. In the past, the Kardashians and Jenners ruled social media, but lately their follower counts have been hemorrhaging, following the same trajectory as their TV show, which is also seeing dwindling viewers. With plummeting ratings and people abandoning their show and social media accounts in droves, the mainstream media has become overrun with articles exposing the Kardashians' loss in relevancy. After a pandemic and a cost of living crisis, people are over the Kardashians and their ostentatious displays of wealth. Audiences are craving relatability and authenticity, something that the vastly out-of-touch Kardashians and Jenners cannot provide. They continue to push terrible products after terrible product, ripping off smaller creators, exploiting women with some of these products, and profiting from undisclosed sponsorships, all while their lawsuits, call-outs, and shady behavior piles up. While the Kardashians are still rich and famous, the tide has truly turned, and they are not only being called out all across social media, but they're even being booed live on television. As of late, the only time anyone wants to discuss the Kardashians is when they've done something wrong. And that's exactly why we're discussing them today. Even though they have a plethora of new businesses and their new show just launched a new season, the only coverage the Kardashians are getting is in relation to their ignorant comments and actions concerning nepotism and privilege. In addition, many online creators are speaking out about their terrible businesses and products that they churn out week after week in a desperate attempt to bring in more millions and reclaim the peak of their relevancy. We'll also be discussing the harm some of the Kardashians' products have inflicted on the public, and in particular, a number of disgusting products aimed at exploiting young women's insecurities. So sit back, relax, grab a drink and a snack, and let's once again dive in to the toxic, fake, and harmful world of one of America's most manipulative families, the Kardashians. If there's one thing nearly everyone wants, it's success. Of course, success looks different to different people and can be achieved in many different ways, but there's one version of success that millions and probably billions aspire to, and that's to be rich and famous. Successful, rich, and famous are the most sought-after titles, and they're stiff competition to achieve and retain these titles. With so many people chasing these statuses, it means that there's an incredibly small chance of success in the careers that create riches and fame. Becoming successful, rich and famous in acting, content creation, and singing is no small feat, and the odds are really stacked against you. However, there is one thing that is very quick and very easy that you can do to pretty much guarantee immediate success to this exclusive club of money, power, fame, and success. And that's being born into an already rich, famous, and connected family. The 6 Kardashian-Jenner children have all benefited immensely from nepotism, but the latest generations of Kardashians are taking it to a whole new level. While Robert Kardashian and Kris and Caitlyn Jenner weren't enormous household names, they did have a level of fame by association, and Caitlyn was also an Olympic champion. Their name recognition, and more importantly, their money, allowed them access to the exclusive Hollywood club, and they were even given access, opportunities, advantages, and chances that the average person would not get. Even just the fact that the Kardashians' parents' money bought them every advantage in life and sustained them while they tried to make it in Hollywood is an incredible advantage. For the average person trying to make it in Hollywood, they need to do everything in regards to trying to become an actor or a singer while also working full-time time to support themselves while they're doing this. For people like the Kardashians, they have the privilege of using 100% of their energy on whatever their goal or passion is. And they're not only sustained by their family's wealth, but they also do not need to expend their resources every day like regular people do. They have people cleaning their houses, doing their errands, cooking, laundry, and a bazillion other things. Because the Kardashian and Jenners, especially Kendall, Kylie, and the new generation of kids, have benefited from nepotism immensely, they're unable to even see how much they have benefited. There have been two recent large discussions in the media and online in regards to the Kardashians and nepotism, with the first being sparked by comments made by Kendall Jenner and her ignorance to the massive advantages her family has handed her entire life. The second discussion was sparked after Kim Kardashian and Kanye West's daughter Northwest performed in The Lion King at the Hollywood Bowl. I want to be extremely clear here and say that we're not speaking about the child. It is not the child's fault. They did not put themselves in this position and they did not ask to be born into this family. This is squarely on the parent's shoulder and they are the ones that put their child in this position. For many years, Kendall Jenner has spoken to the media and complained that she is not a product of nepotism and that she's worked just as hard as everyone else and her success is all her own and nothing to do with her family. So Kendall Jenner has spoken about the fact that apparently when she was starting out, she took her name off auditions, her last name, and she went to all these casting calls in the middle of nowhere. But on their show, The Kardashians, there's clips of Kris Kardashian basically saying, oh, I've set Kendall up with all these modeling people.
I spent the last 2 days calling everybody I know so I can make sure that I set Kendall up with the best modeling agency possible.
And she started doing modeling when she was 14, 15. Like, that's obviously your parent setting you up and doing that. And she also has really honed in on this. I wasn't using my last name. And I think that even just the ignorance to think no one's going to know who you are if you don't have your last name, especially during this time when she was getting into modeling and starting to move up, that it was the 2010s. It was the height of the Kardashians' fame. Their TV show was still getting viewers then, and they were really well known, starting to get into businesses. But it was social media, of course, where they have hundreds of millions of followers. Of course, those people are going to look you up or even just know you, because how many people can recognize a Kardashian or Jenner, whether that information was readily sought by them or it was put into their head against their will because they are everywhere. And I think this sort of statement really exemplifies the difference between Kylie and Kendall and the older ones. Don't get me wrong, they've all benefited from nepotism, and the older ones, even though they weren't quite as famous when they were younger, their dad was still O.J. Simpson's best friend involved in the trial. Kris and Caitlyn were really doing like infomercials, and they weren't big names, but people knew who they were. But when Kendall and Kylie were pretty much kids and their entire life, they have been famous and they don't know any different. So they make statements like this because they're not even aware of normal lives or what it's like to be not famous.
Hi guys, Editing Ash here. Just as I'm rewatching this, I just wanted to point out that this lack of understanding or education about them not knowing what the real world is like or real people's everyday struggles, that is in no way an excuse. They should be absolutely educating themselves about the real world. They don't have to work the same way we do. They don't have to do errands. They don't even have to sit in traffic. They're flying around on private jets. They have people doing everything for them. So the least that they could do is educate themselves about the real world and real people.
And not to give the older ones a compliment, because they are an incredibly rich family. They have benefited from everything their whole life, money, fame, etc. But I think the older ones at least know what it's like to be semi-normal, at least like regular rich normal, and not like 1%er rich. So they know what it like, they can remember their life before. So I just think Kendall and Kylie, it's at an absolute different level of this nepotism and just in general being very ignorant about the world. And I think this is what we're in store for with the younger Kardashian Jenners, because as I said, we're even starting to see this with them being put on social media, which I'll talk about in a second, and also the whole thing with the Hollywood Bowl. So Kendall has made incredibly ridiculous statements, and I think that people really just, it's something that frustrates people a lot, because nobody is saying that you need to sit there and say, I've been handed everything, I've never worked a day in my life. People just really want you to recognize that you did have a little bit of an easier time at least getting your foot in the door. And I think that there are some Nepo babies who deal with this totally the right way. The best one I think I've seen address it is Maya Hawke, who is Ethan Hawke and Uma Thurman's daughter. And she's in Stranger Things. She's been in a bunch of stuff. Do Revenge with Sarah Michelle Gellar playing the principal. That's kind of all I remember about that movie. And the way she sort of addressed it was perfect. She said, I had an easier time getting into the room, but I know I only have so many chances on my parents' name, and if I do good, I can stick around, or if I suck, they're probably gonna kick me out of the little Hollywood kingdom. And also, even though I hate giving her a compliment, Gwyneth Paltrow has also said, listen, when you're a celebrity's kid, you have an easy time getting in the door. You don't even realize, because that's all you know is being a celebrity's kid. So I think that if she just had a little bit of humility, but I again think it's just a different level with Kendall and Kylie, because one thing I will also say, not to give them again too many compliments, but the older ones, I have at least heard when they're interacting with fans and people like that they are really nice and friendly. And don't get me wrong, the way they attack other smaller creators and use their legal teams and money to silence and bully people, I recognize all of that, but I will at least say they are human beings to people. Whereas anything I've ever heard or even just seen on social media in regards to Kendall and Kylie is that they are incredibly rude to not only fans, but just people they have to interact with, people that are serving them, or bartenders, or people that work in stores. And I think that is another way that you just see the differences between the younger ones and the older ones. I think what we see with Kendall and Kylie is just the template of what is coming with the kids, in the sense that they will have never known anything else but this fame, money, being able to create a social media account and having millions of followers and brands wanting to work with you and all these things that just come so easily to them. Whereas other people trying to act, sing, get a social media following, be a content creator, millions and millions of people try to do those things, and a very small percent make it. And even though the other people tried and worked hard, it's not going to happen for most people. And I even read some statistic the other day that said that the chances of starting a YouTube channel and getting to 100,000 subscribers is like 0.06%. So with Kendall and Kylie and all of them in general, people just want a little bit of acknowledgement that they've had a leg up, they've had help. And I don't think there is any better proof of how much the Kardashian Jenners benefit from this nepotism, money, power, fame that their family has than what happened with the Lion King performance at the Hollywood Bowl. So the Lion King performance was to celebrate the 30th anniversary, and it was at the Hollywood Bowl, and they had a massive cast of very famous, very accomplished people. There was Jennifer Hudson, Nathan Lane, Billy Eichner, Jeremy Irons, and a big cast of just really accomplished actors and singers. And the part of little baby Simba was played by Northwest, Kim Kardashian and Kanye West's daughter. So a lot of people spoke out about this after it happened because people could not get over that basically Northwest had been given this role above other children. I saw a lot of people posting other kids' Lion King auditions, and I did look into this, and apparently the role was actually just given to her because I'm sure most people know that Lion King is Disney. The Kardashians now, their show is on Hulu, which is owned by Disney, and apparently the production company that they use for the Kardashians was used for the Lion King 30th anniversary performance. So they apparently had always sought out Northwest, which now it kind of works in their favor either way, because obviously the performance, most people didn't like it. So it sparked a lot of discussion on social media. And if it had gone the other way and a lot of people did like it, I'm sure there would have been the other side of people saying, oh, it was a good performance, or can you believe this, etc. I want to be clear also, as I said before, I'm not talking about the kid. The kid didn't have anything to do with this. They didn't make this decision. Their parents are the ones that made this decision and put them in this position, which I don't have kids at all, and I just can't even imagine like putting my cat in that position where you're putting them on this massive global scale and they don't seem prepared in the slightest. Even the clips that I've seen, it didn't even look like they had been given rehearsal time with the other performers, because they didn't even seem to know like which way to move about the stage. And I'm sure a lot of people will say in regards to that, or just even the performance in general, the singing and stuff like that, that, oh, they're a kid and they might not be able to remember the way to go, or they are a kid, so they're not that great yet at singing. But the thing is, there are a lot of kids who are incredible singers and incredible actors and literally have been trying to get roles like this their whole life or for years and years. And I know a lot of people were sharing auditions of kids that would have done a great performance in this role. So it was taken away from another child, but it wasn't actually like other kids were auditioning and then they just said, oh no, we're not going to take any of them, we're going to go with Northwest. Apparently she always was the one that was supposed to be in the role, but still it took away from a child that had been training and was able to do a good performance that would have been the level of what you would expect for the Hollywood Bowl and these other actors. So given the fact that the child didn't seem to be very prepared for the role, and also a lot of people spoke on social media about them not being trained or at the caliber of a person who should be performing in a play like this, I do think that a lot of people are thinking that this is just going to be what is going to happen for the foreseeable future, because the Kardashians have a lot of kids and it already seems like they're setting especially the girls up to be the next versions of them, because for some reason they don't treat the sons the same way at all. The sons seem very protected. They're not shown half as much as the daughters. And I do think this plays into their whole brand of basically building and marketing businesses towards women's insecurities. And that is what we're going to talk about next, because the Kardashian business model is two things, basically. It is either pump out cheap, fast businesses that you can fold after one round of something or a year, very short time period. It's basically just a cash grab because they either see something making money, they see something to exploit, and they will push out cheap products that it doesn't really matter how good it is because it's going to sell an initial round because they're celebrities. Or they do actually have a few businesses that are successful businesses, very few, but the ones that are successful absolutely are only based around exploiting women's insecurities, sometimes manufactured insecurities. So in the next chapter, we're going to break down why they do this business model of pumping out these cheap, fast things with a very high turnover rate, and it's just thing after thing after thing. And then also discuss one of their recent successes and why, in my opinion, it is an absolute scam of a product. The Kardashians have had an enormous number of businesses. At my count, I can tally up 97 businesses, products, and endorsements since their store Smooch opened in 2004. These businesses cover a wide array of products from makeup, alcohol, teeth whitening, clothes, supplements, tanning lotion, TV shows, books, games, and more. But when looking into these businesses, you'll find very few successes, as only about 1 in 20 of their businesses seem to last longer than a year or two, and many completely crash and burn. So why do the Kardashians create so many businesses that seem to close quickly? And what differentiates the few successes like Skims and Lemme from the rest? That's what we're going to discuss in this chapter. And an important thing to remember is that the Kardashians employ two basic tactics for their business. The first one being the exploitation or even the creation of insecurities in women. The Kardashians will create or exaggerate flaws in women, and then they'll use their enormous social media followings, their slick PR, and their media manipulation to discuss whatever insecurity they are exploiting, such as women's weight, their looks, or even intimate areas of their body. The Kardashians will then swoop in with their product that solves whatever insecurity or issue they have told women they have. And I'm not saying if the Kardashians didn't exist, the world would be all sunshine, kittens, and rainbows, and no one would have any insecurities, but the Kardashians have absolutely and irrecoverably caused many of the issues women and young girls have today. They've used their large, massive social media followings to do harm, and then they have capitalized and profited off that harm and the issues and insecurities they have exaggerated, and even in some cases the insecurities in women the Kardashians themselves have created. The other favorite tactic of the Kardashians is the throw everything at the wall and see what sticks tactic. There's been a lot of discussion lately around this particular tactic, especially when it comes to Kylie Jenner. Kylie once had a very successful business in Kylie Cosmetics, and while this business was born out of a lie created by the Jenners, and they also went on to lie about the level of success the business had achieved, Kylie Cosmetics did make an incredible amount of money at one stage. But Kylie Cosmetics is long past its peak, and to continue her unbelievable lifestyle, Kylie Jenner needs to keep the millions flowing into her bank account. So Kylie has chosen to flood her remaining fans with release after release, pushing out poor products for a very quick influx of cash. So let's break down exactly why she's employing this particular tactic. At the very end of 2015, Kylie Jenner launched what would become Kylie Cosmetics. Cosmetics. She released Kylie lip kits, which consisted of a lip pencil and a lip gloss, something that was revolutionary at the time. Jenner released the lip kits after a wave of discussion on social media and across the media landscape about her lips. As is tradition with the Kardashians and Jenners, Kris and Kylie completely lied about the product and its results. The Jenners claims that Kylie's lips were the result of makeup and the lip kits, but in reality, she had the first of many aesthetic enhancements and plastic surgeries to achieve this new lip. The Jenners used their connections, money, and relationships with the press to drum up enormous hype for the lip kit launch, and even though they had employed a massive marketing campaign with traditional and non-traditional marketing, they only ordered about 15,000 lip kits that sold out in 1 minute due to the marketing hype, well exceeding the amount of products on hand. The Jenners then used the fact that the lip kits sold out in 1 minute to build even more hype around the kits. Everybody wants what they can't have. This was how they built up Kylie Cosmetics, and for a very short time, the business was very successful. The story of Kylie Cosmetics is just one of the many examples of nepotism that we talked about earlier. Of course, they're going to spend hundreds of thousands or even more drumming up hype for their business, and most people who would spend a fortune in marketing would need to make that money back from their launch. But with the Kardashians and Jenners, they can afford to burn that money. By only launching 15,000 lip kits, they absolutely will have lost a fortune in the beginning of Kylie Cosmetics and that first initial launch. But they were able to get the headlines, the buzz, everybody talking on social media because those lip kits were selling out in 1 minute. They must be popular. They must be good. They were able to fabricate success until they achieved it. They could fake it until they made it. Unfortunately, most people don't have this privilege as they only have one shot of making it. And if they don't have endless amounts of money to sustain them while they fake it. With that being said, Kylie Cosmetics is long past its peak. And a lot of the reason that it is not successful anymore is because of the decisions that they made. Because while the lip kits were novel when they came out, a lot of everything else they did was just color pop different with Kylie's name on it. And also things that they're releasing now, they are not unique, revolutionary. They're just the same that you can get in a lot of other places for a lot less money. And I really never see anyone anymore talking about Kylie's Cosmetics unless they're an influencer that is trying to stay on the Kardashians PR list and just saying how much they love stuff, which I don't get why people want influencers that get paid to just basically suck up to these people, but that's a story for another day. So I think that there's a lot of little decisions that destroyed the sort of heyday of Kylie Cosmetics, because not only was the company started on a lie, but they then went on to lie about its success and even told Forbes that they were billionaires and provided, and Forbes said this, so this is just me repeating it, that the Jenners provided fake documents to lead Forbes to believe that Kylie was a billionaire, and she was given this title of the world's youngest billionaire, apparently. And by lying to Forbes, Kylie is taking titles from people like Pat McGrath, who are actually revolutionary makeup artists who have changed the landscape of makeup, and Pat McGrath should be getting way more recognition than Kylie Jenner, but because, again, their family, connections, media, everything like that, it's the Jenners that get these accolades when it's not even true. And that was really, in my opinion, when things started to really start to fall with Kylie Cosmetics, because I think people finally realized how so much of what they do and say is a facade. And there were even the sort of interviews and things that would come out where Kylie's showing Vogue or someone around her office, and it's clear that this woman does not know what is going on in this office. She seems to really not have ever really been in the office. I think that Kris saw an opportunity to manufacture this industry around Kylie because of the lips and the insecurity. And again, it was another business where they could exploit the insecurities of women. And this was just the perfect thing at the perfect time. And all the other stuff that I've mentioned with the ideas and things from other people. And I do go into their businesses and things like that a lot more in my 2 other Kardashian videos at the beginning of summer for the last, I guess this is the 3rd year of doing it. I talk about the Kardashians. So if you want to know more about the individual businesses, then watch those videos after this one, because you don't have to watch them in any order or anything like that. But I wanted to bring up Kylie Cosmetics just because it is a good representation of why she is doing what she's doing now. Because when she had Kylie Cosmetics and it was at its peak, it was making so much money. It was like a money printing machine. And she immediately went into this, I mean, a 1%er lifestyle is insane anyway, but just absolutely insane levels of wealth and a lifestyle that is just so much money to maintain. You know, she has the jet and she has like multiple 8-figure mansions, and it's not even things like that, like the mansions, the jets, the 10 cars, the vacations, the jewelry and clothes and handbags. It's also all of the staff and things that you need to maintain all of this opulence. She's paying to store the jet. She's paying for people to fly it, maintain it. She's paying for people to look after her kids and clean her house and cook her food and drive her places, and marketing, and a manager, agent, and a lawyer are going to take certain percentages. And it's a massive amount of money. And although their income is very high, their outgoings are very high too. So all of that to say, the reason now that you're seeing so many products, businesses, and just things being pushed out by Kylie Jenner is because she used to have this big income that was coming from Kylie Cosmetics. And although she did sell a huge portion of the business to Cody and got hundreds of millions of dollars for it, a lot of that money will also be tied up in investments and things here and things there and different accounts. And to keep maintaining this lifestyle, she has to keep the money flowing, because the Kardashians, a lot of them love to say, especially the younger ones, like, oh, I don't want to be famous. I don't want to be famous. And it's like, no, you do want to be famous. You just don't want the sort of scrutiny that comes with fame, where you don't want people calling you out or people in the media talking about you, on social media talking about you. If you really didn't like fame, then you just take all your money and leave. But they want to keep this lifestyle. They want to keep doing everything they're doing, and they have to keep bringing in all of these millions because they're wanting more and more and more constantly. So they keep pushing out these cheap products that aren't very good, because they know that that first round of whatever it is, like her new line Kai, a lot of the products, they're cheap, they are ill-fitting. I've seen review after review that even gorgeous women who are very tall, very slim, like the products don't fit them at all. It looks very messy, and it's one of those things that she just wants to push out, because the first round of something, like an initial purchase, you can get someone to that initial purchase if there is a celebrity involved in it. The second purchase, you can't really bank on a celebrity driving that second purchase, because the second purchase usually only comes when you like the product, it's a good product, and you're gonna have repeat business. But they will push out so many of these products and then just fold the business, because they know that's where the value is with them, their celebrity endorsement. And also, a lot of these companies that are folding, they'll be able to write them off taxes and losses and all of these things. So sometimes the business is more valuable to fold it. Like, if I can use the analogy of the fantastic video by Jenny Nicholson about the Star Wars hotel or the Galactic Star Cruiser. If anybody's watched Jenny's video, they know what joke I'm making there. But it's things like that where sometimes it is more valuable to get rid of the business. And with the Kardashians, because their value lies in their celebrity endorsement, they can't usually get people to that second purchase, to that repeat business, because it's a bad product. So all of that is why you're seeing these terrible products come out from Kylie, and also why you are seeing her doing sponsorships for like games and like gambling things, which again, incredibly harmful. And they all of them do terrible sponsorships, like these fit teas and all of that. And I know when I talk about the Kardashians, especially stuff like this, like the bad sponsorships and money, people will say, oh, you're jealous, or you would do the same thing too, and they're just getting their money. And yeah, would I like a mansion of millions? Of fucking course I would. But that doesn't nullify what I'm saying. Also, I wouldn't do the same thing, because my inbox is every single day. It's rare that I don't get an email every single day. Even though I say I don't do sponsorships, I get an email asking 10 grand for this or 5 grand for this, and it's all stuff that they use and they have sponsorships for. And all the other sponsorships that you see on YouTube, BetterHelp and all of these other trash ones that I would never touch, because I would not flog that to my audience for my own benefit financially. Like, I just, that's why I don't do sponsorships. Of course, I would like the money, but I'm not willing to risk sending my audience to these products, because they're either poor or some of them are harmful. So no, I wouldn't do the same thing. And I think there are plenty of ethical ways that they can make money, and they are exceedingly rich. Do they really need to do an undisclosed sponsorship for Fit Tea, or an undisclosed sponsorship for whatever it is this week that they're putting on their Instagram? It is just another example of them being allowed to do whatever the fuck they want, and there are no repercussions. And you can also see that exemplified in the new generation of Kardashians. And this kind of ties the bad business and also the nepotism together, because they will sit there and say, oh, we don't have any advantages, and we're just, making careers and doing these amazing things with no help and totally on our own. And yet one of their kids can turn 13, get an Instagram account, and in like 5 days be at nearly 1 million subscribers. And I'm sure it's only a matter of time until we start seeing them doing undisclosed sponsorships and for shoddy products like Fit Tea and all the like. But now I want to talk about one of their successes, because not only is it a shoddy product, but I think that this product is just absolutely, in my opinion, a scam, because it is something that is very expensive to purchase, but what you are getting is not what it says it is. And a lot of the claims of this product are completely fabricated. No truth, results, nothing. It is just something that they are profiting from, because they are again exploiting the insecurities of women. And there's even one product in this line that is basically manufacturing something that is wrong with women that they need to fix. And this product does nothing because there is nothing wrong to fix. And I'm sure that might sound a little bit confusing, but most people will not be surprised to hear that we're now going to talk about Kourtney Kardashian's product, Lemme. Two of the most successful Kardashian businesses in the recent years have been Kim Kardashian's shapewear line Skims and Kourtney Kardashian's supplement line Lemme. I have briefly talked about Lemme before, but I want to go into a lot more detail here. When I talked about it over a year ago, it was just kind of coming out, and I keep seeing more and more products coming from them and more people purchasing it. And in my real world job, I work in marketing, but I have a medical company that is basically a big clinic group of doctors and surgeons and consultants and specialists. And so I think I can give a little bit of a unique insight here because, in my opinion, this is a terrible, terrible product. And I think for what you are spending and what you are getting, it's pretty much a scam. And I'm going to explain why, obviously. So the gummy system in general for delivering supplements or pretty much anything outside of cannabis, it's not very effective at all. And the main reason for that is because you cannot really guarantee the dosage with a gummy because it's just not possible to do it the same way that you do with a capsule or a pill. So you could have a container that would have 30 milligram gummies in it, apparently, but some of them might have 28, some of them might have 32.
Hi guys, editing Ash here. Just the way I explained the gummies, I think I can do it a bit more succinctly. So basically, the reason that gummies are not something that is effective for supplements or really anything outside of cannabis is the fact that you not only have to get the taste and everything like that, because most people are taking gummies for that reason, that's why you give them to kids, but also to get them to be actual gummies, like gelatin and the flavoring, the color, sugar, all of those things, it leaves very, very little space for the actual supplement of whatever it is for.
We find that there are many more quality problems with gummies than there are with tablets or capsules.
The group says ingredients lose potency faster in gummy form.
As I said earlier too, you can't really control the exact dosage, so it's just not an effective thing, and it's why very good supplements usually come in capsule form. That is the best way to do it. And I did actually see, while I've been in the process of making this video, that they are now, Lemme is trying to do capsules, because I guess they have been getting a lot of pushback about this, but still, what is in the capsules is very overpriced, and as you'll see throughout the rest of this video, what they are offering is just not anything that is worth the high prices that they are charging. So we'll get into that more, but I just wanted to be a little bit clearer about the actual gummy and why gummies as a whole are not good. And now we'll get into more specifics about Lemme and why it's not good.
So gummies aren't a good delivery system, but when it comes to supplements, there's also a really important thing to remember, and that is that supplements don't have a guarantee because they don't go through the same sort of testing and regulations that, say, like medicine and food and things do. And supplements can kind of say whatever they want. They can make claims of crazy things when they really don't have to produce any sort of evidence for, because there are no regulations or things like that with supplements. And we're going to get into that a little bit later when we're talking about the particular products of Lemme. Another thing about gummies is that they obviously have sugar in them, or these ones do at least, the Lemme ones. And they actually, per gummy, have 3 grams of sugar in them, which is well over a teaspoon of sugar. It's quite close to a full teaspoon of sugar. And you have to think, maybe some people would be taking multiple of these gummies, like of the different types, and they're getting up and taking spoonfuls of sugar for this very, very tiny amount of the other products, which again, we'll talk about in a second. But I really find it hard to believe that Kourtney Kardashian or any of the Kardashians are consuming this product, because I don't follow the Kardashians at all. I look into them once a year and talk about their businesses and products. But outside of that, I don't consume anything about them. I don't watch their show. I don't know like a lot about them personally. And even I know that Kourtney Kardashian doesn't consume sugar and is very anti-sugar and gluten-free. And I find it really hard to believe that she is even ingesting one of these. And I keep seeing her social media ads, obviously researching this video. And I don't know why, but every time she puts one in her mouth, I just picture her like the camera cutting and her spitting it out onto the ground, and like some assistant having to go and pick it up, because I just don't think that she consumes them. So before we get into the specifics and breaking down what's in some of these and the issues with them.
If you have a condition that makes it hard for you to absorb vitamins and nutrients from your actual food, like Crohn's disease, sure, or if you're pregnant or nursing, the doctors say, listen, if you eat from a variety of foods, most Americans do not need any vitamins or supplements of any kind. You don't need chewable pills, none.
I want to say why I think that this product is doing well and why so many people seem to like it. And I think that all of the success of Lemme is tied up in their marketing. And the marketing for this product, and I mean everything about the marketing, the branding, the website, the emails, even the actual bottle and how everything looks, the marketing is absolutely fantastic. It is brilliant. Even the way that it looks on the shelf, the little details, the emails, the layout of the website, it is a fantastic marketing plethora of ideas, and the color, the text, everything about it, it's great. I can't say enough good things about the marketing, but that's kind of the problem, is that the marketing is so good that the product doesn't have to be good. And in my opinion, the product isn't good, because people see all of the nice aesthetic bottles, they see all the fancy social media ads, and obviously the Kardashians, they're famous, they have a lot of influence, they have hundreds of millions of followers, and all of those things together mean that people get the impression that this product works. They're being told constantly how amazing it is, how great it looks. They want to believe that it works. And the placebo effect is a powerful thing, especially if you've forked over a lot of money for it. And there are also some little things that I do think might play into people's sort of idea of whether it's working or not, which we'll talk about in a second too. But overall, I think that the marketing is 95% of the success. And of course, just in general, having a celebrity endorse the product, because I don't think that Kourtney Kardashian is really crazily involved with what is actually going into the products and everything like that. Again, the sugar thing, I can't believe that she was really involved with that decision. So the celebrity thing, it carries a lot of weight. And of course, with the Kardashians, you're always going to have influencers who want to stay in their good graces, who want to stay on their PR lists, and therefore will tell their audience whatever they need to tell them to get them to buy this product, that it works, that it's great, that it's amazing. And I don't understand why these people that have these massive platforms, why when they love and think everything is so brilliant, why people follow them, because they're not getting like an authentic review. One of the best videos that I've seen that went over the Lemme brand was by a creator who has a company called Be Better Company, and he spoke a lot about the actual gummies and also the proprietary blends that Lemme uses in their products.
I have a master's degree in botanical medicine, and today I'm going to use it to expose why this brand by Courtney Kardashian is one of the biggest scams I have seen in the supplement industry in a very, very long time. So full disclosure, before I filmed this video, I had planned out an entire marketing breakdown of Lemme that was exceedingly positive. I literally was obsessed with their marketing campaign, from their e-commerce approach to their email marketing to the industrial design of this packaging, from the ridges, the small detail on top of that emulating the same shape and the pattern of the gummy itself. I was so excited to talk about this brand and to finally talk about something positive on my page, and I was extremely, honestly shocked to see that Courtney Kardashian is engaging in something called proprietary blends. This to me is extremely unethical. It's very dishonest. I will never consume a supplement that has proprietary blends because as a consumer, it's relevant to me. If you are advertising a product that's going to be helping my health, I deserve to know the actual breakdown.
So I want to discuss a little bit about the proprietary blends, and then we'll go into breaking down some of the individual brands like the bloating one and the fat burning one and the one for your kitty. So the proprietary blends is I think a bit of a scam, because proprietary blends is basically leaving it up to the manufacturer to do the right thing, but they wouldn't be using proprietary blends if they were going to do the right thing. So to explain what proprietary blends are, it's basically when on a product they can say, the manufacturer can say that there are 3 things in this product, but we're not going to tell you how much of each thing, we're just going to tell you how much they are altogether. So to give an example, I have a backpack sitting here that is full. And I'm going to say to you, okay, you're going to buy this backpack from me. It's going to be full no matter what. And there's going to be 3 things in it: gold, silver, and dirt. And you are going to pay me $100 no matter what. You're paying $100 for this backpack. It's up to me how much of each of those things I put in. So if I put a speck of gold, a speck of silver, and the rest dirt, I'm going to make nearly that whole $100 when I've taken out my costs, because I've basically just given you tiny specks and the rest was nothing. So you're making a big amount of income from that purchase point, because you're not really having to put the quality into the ingredients. And that is what proprietary blends are, where you are saying, okay, it's these 3 ingredients, but the best ingredient, or the one that's effective, it might only have a minuscule amount that is not going to do anything.
In this one, you're also selling coenzyme Q10. Again, it's only, how much is it? It's 20 milligrams. If you look up the therapeutic dosing of coenzyme Q10, it's 200, 500, 1,000 milligrams that you need to buy if you actually want an effect. So these products are just bothering me because these are not therapeutic doses. And if you are a naturopath or you're a pharmacist, please back me up on this, because these will not be prescribed to patients. If you want real supplements, invest in your health and go to the health food store, and don't buy BS celebrity brand. This is glorified, overpriced candy. And it will be a very interesting case study to see how far an incredible marketing campaign can take a shitty product.
So I want to talk a little bit about a few of the individual brands for the gummies. The first one I want to talk about is the sleep one. That one, a lot of people claim works, and it probably does work, as in it puts you to sleep, but that's because it's got melatonin in it, and melatonin puts you to sleep. But melatonin can be purchased for about 1/5 of the price from other supplement companies. So you're basically paying a massive, massive price hike for the packaging. And there is a lot of other ones that on the surface, they may look like they do something, but they really don't. Whereas the sleep one, yes, you will go to sleep, but you could have got the same result for a lot cheaper. So now I want to talk about the bloating gummy, and this gummy does have probiotics in it. It does have 2 probiotics in it, which obviously that is what promotes a healthy gut, and it's the good bacteria in your gut. But the study that was done on these 2 probiotics was a very small study that could not really replicate the results anywhere else. And also the minuscule amount of the probiotics in these gummies is pretty much what you would get from eating a yogurt and a banana or mushrooms or oats. It's really not anything that's going to do a lot. And any good that the probiotics would do is actually nullified by the sugar that is in these gummies, because again, they have 3 grams of sugar in each of them. And just to put that into perspective too, women should have 25 grams of sugar max a day. So if you take a couple of these gummies, you're getting close to your sugar allotment for the day.
Gummy vitamins typically contain anywhere from 2 to 8 grams of sugar, and sugar-free gummies are not a free pass.
This product might contain sugar alcohol, and consuming too much sugar alcohol at one time can cause some unpleasant GI effects for some people.
So now let's discuss the Lemme Purr gummy, which is for your kitty. Obviously, this one had a lot of discussion on social media, and honestly, it is the one that infuriates me the most because it is absolutely playing into the insecurities of women, because this is absolutely 100% something that you do not need. The first thing that we can say doesn't do anything is the pineapple. So they say this is a pineapple flavored gummy, and that pineapple makes you smell and taste sweeter. And the first thing that I thought when I heard that was, well, if there is a sweet smell or taste to your, you probably have a yeast infection. So that's not something you should really be aiming for. And with the other ingredients in this gummy, one of the things that they talk about a lot is the fact that there's vitamin C in this gummy, and there is also a probiotic ingredient called SNZ1969. So the vitamin C, they claim that it can help clear up chronic bacterial vaginosis, which, yeah, it can, but it has to be applied topically to your, it can't be ingested. So that is completely nullified too. So pineapple not doing anything, vitamin C not doing anything. What about the SNZ1969? All of the ads claim that this probiotic SNZ1969 is clinically tested and supports vaginal health. There are many, many TikToks and Instagram reels of Courtney Kardashian claiming that this SNZ1969 is clinically tested, and it's going to do all of these amazing things. This probiotic isn't naturally found in the body, and there is nothing to support any of these claims. I do have a theory as to where they got this clinically tested SNZ1969 from, and also why they picked that particular probiotic. So to first talk about where did they get this and why are they claiming it was clinically tested. So again, there are no studies at all that have been done that prove this result, no clinical tests, nothing. There was a clinical test done with a very small sample size where women were given this probiotic, and they then went on to have a change in the smell of their, and that was because These women had an infection, they had bacterial vaginosis, and they were given antibiotics. And that's why there was a change in the smell and everything going on, because they had an infection. It was cleared up with antibiotics, but they were also at the same time taking this SNZ 1969 in the same way that if you're taking antibiotics, you might have a yogurt or something else with good bacteria in it, because when you take antibiotics, then sometimes it can disrupt the good bacteria too. That's why people, when they take antibiotics, sometimes will get problems with their bowels, or people will get oral yeast infections, or women will get yeast infections in their because the antibiotics are disrupting the good bacteria. And it was that cleared up the infection, not this SNZ 1969.
Your vagina is very good at looking after itself, and actually putting things up there could disrupt the natural pH and microbiome. Also isn't enough evidence for vaginal probiotics, and introducing the wrong strain could do more harm than good.
So this SNZ 1969 doesn't really do anything. So why did they pick it? I think that they picked it because of the name. They use it in all of the marketing materials, and as far as I can remember, they don't do that for any of the other gummies in the Lemme range. And does the average person know what SNZ 1969 is? No. They use it in the marketing materials because it has 69 in the name, and it's a gummy for vaginal health. I really think it's that simple, because why else would you put it in the marketing materials? Why would you use it when it's not proving anything? And it is just, again, it doesn't do anything. The vitamin C doesn't do anything, like we discussed. It has to be topical, if anything. And the pineapple thing is an old wives' tale. So all three ingredients, nothing. And I think most people know that this product is garbage. It is absolutely preying on women and trying to exploit them and manufacture an insecurity that women shouldn't have. And if there is something that is really wrong, you should be going to your doctor, not to a Kardashian. Overall, these Lemme products, the vast majority of them are going to do nothing. They are not going to harm you, but they're not going to do anything. All they're going to do is add zeros to Kourtney Kardashian's bank account. That's honestly what most of them are doing. The few that do something, like the sleep one, you can get the exact same product or even more of the products. I just was in Target and I looked, and there was bottles for like half the price that were like triple the amount, and it's just as much melatonin. There was double the doses of melatonin for half the price. And I just think, again, it's the whole aesthetic, the whole branding. They're great at marketing, they're great at PR, and that's it. But the Lemme Purr one infuriates me, and not to editorialize too much, but it encapsulates everything that is wrong with the Kardashians. They have made billions of dollars from deception, manipulation, and exploitation of young people. And I really think that we need to look at the fact that for the past 15 years, Kris Jenner has put her children in this position where they have been allowed to exploit millennials and Gen Z in particular. And we are starting to see the beginning of their kids trying to move into the same area and start exploiting the younger generation. And I really think that's why it's important to continue the conversation about them and about this downfall that they've entered, because people are over all of their terrible businesses. They're over their undisclosures of ads. They're over just them in general. There's article after article about them being in their flop era, the Met Gala being over them. Their ratings for their show are abysmal. They're losing social media followers, and they're even being booed at live events. And I honestly think it is a good thing that they are wielding less and less power and relevancy, because the fewer and fewer people that are influenced by the Kardashians and Jenners, the better. Thank you so much if you made it to the end. Please leave MVP down below so I can personally thank you. And again, If you haven't seen my other Kardashian videos, at the start of the summer every year, we have to do a little discussion on them. But this is a trilogy now, so I don't know whether it'll be beating a dead horse to continue on. So maybe this will be the final chapter unless something really scandalous or crazy comes out, because I mean, oh God, they're constantly doing stuff, so it would have to be really big. But I'd love to know your thoughts down below. I'm getting into this swing of 2 videos a month, I hope, and I have some really exciting plans coming up towards the end of the summer, and started to put a few little things in motion that I hope that you guys will enjoy. So if you want to know a bit more about what's going on behind the scenes and things, definitely follow me on social media, especially Instagram. I post a lot there. I post a lot of cat pictures too if you enjoy Miss G. So thank you again so much for watching, and I will see you guys very soon for another new video. So make sure to stay safe, take care of yourselves, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye guys.